In this video, we will talk about whether Matthew McConaughey's trademark is all right. All right, all right. A trademark that is a cluster what? And what barbecue and trademark searches have in common. I'm Tom Vanderblimmen, and I'm a lawyer in South Carolina. This is a recap of our January 16, 2026 newsletter, where we talk about trademarks, franchises, and other legal stuff. If you like this kind of thing, or if you just want to see dog pictures or our regular trivia question, you can see links to sign up and for our recent newsletter in the description below. This week's question is about a comedian, and it's not Dick Van Dyke, who is about to turn 100 years old. Is Matthew McConaughey's trademark all right? All right, all right. Matthew McConaughey, you may know him from his leading roles, driving Lincolns and regularly appearing on the sidelines of Texas football games. But his first speaking role in a movie was Wooderson in the cult classic Dazed and Confused. The movie is about high school kids in the 1970s, and Wooderson was the guy who had already graduated but kept hanging around. McConaughey's first lines in that movie, when he pulls up in his 1970s Chevelle, were, "All right, all right, all right." In our last newsletter recap, you may remember I said I wouldn't impersonate Groucho Marx, because I don't have his eyebrows or his cigar. I certainly don't have McConaughey's look either, so just bear with me here. What does this have to do with trademarks? McConaughey has now registered the phrase, "all right, all right, all right," as a trademark. He actually has two registrations for the phrase. One is for the words themselves, as used on various apparel, and he's had that one for a few years. The more recent registration is for a sensory mark. That's the sounds of the phrase, which the USPTO filing describes as the sound of a man saying, "all right, all right, all right," where the first syllable of the first two words is at a lower pitch than the second syllable, and the first syllable of the last word is at a higher pitch than the second syllable. He registered the sensory mark for use with downloadable audio and video recordings in the field of self-help, human growth and spirituality, and entertainment featuring television series, comedies, and dramas. In an interesting video, McConaughey explained how he came up with the phrase in the movie, with the three all rights being a nod to the three things he imagined his character Wooderson would love. You can get to a link to the video in the description below. Why did he register the phrase? According to news reports, McConaughey wants to prevent unauthorized AI deepfakes of his voice or likeness. We also noticed at least one other application by someone else for the phrase for use with alcoholic beverages, and the USPTO refused that registration, finding that it created a false connection with McConaughey. That applicant challenged the refusal, even arguing that McConaughey came up with the phrase after listening to a recording of Jim Morrison with the Doors, but the USPTO was unmoved. With the concern about AI, we wondered if this would prevent AI tools from answering questions in the same style as Wooderson. So we asked two AI tools to explain what a trademark registration is, but summarize the answer in the style of Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. Pretty good answers, including this one. Trademark registration is like when you go down to the government office and officially claim your brand name or logo so no one else can jack your style, man. Once you register it, you get this sweet nationwide protection and can slap that little circle R on there. Plus, if some clown tries to rip you off, the law's got your back way better than if you didn't register. You got to actually use it, though, and keep renewing it. Otherwise, it's like showing up to the party but not staying. You know what I mean? It's a pretty good description, and we may have to start using that as an answer for our clients. So your trademark is a cluster what? Another story we covered in a recent newsletter was about an interesting trademark. It's for a food delivery company based in Indiana, which made us wonder if they would be doing a lot of business for the national championship college football game. That brand? ClusterTruck. Originally founded in the Indianapolis area, it claims to be America's first delivery-only kitchen. The brand is now franchising, so maybe it will make its way to your neighborhood soon. Now, this is not the only ClusterTruck out there. The online gamers out there may know about the online game of the same name, where you jump your way through insane levels in a game on the floor is lava on top of speeding trucks driven by terrible drivers. That's the description we saw on a website for it. Both the food delivery company and the video game have trademark registrations for the term. So how does that work? Generally speaking, if two different companies use the same term as a trademark, but for such different goods and services and in such different ways that there is no likelihood of consumer confusion, they can coexist. Yes, there are exceptions to this principle, but let's not get bogged down with that. We usually give coexisting examples like this as Delta, which is a trademark for an airline. It's also a trademark for a faucet company. Or Dove, which is a trademark for soap and bath products, but also a trademark for chocolate. Well, now we have another one. We can say ClusterTruck, as long as we say it carefully. What is a trademark search, and what does it have to do with barbecue? The answer seems obvious enough as to what a trademark search is. It's a search for trademarks. But it does remind us of barbecue, which is a term that can mean different things depending on who you talk to. For example, in this part of the United States, barbecue is generally used as a noun, and it refers to pork. But we understand and appreciate that in other parts of the country and world, it can be a more loosely used and more loosely spelled term. It can refer to a variety of grilled meats, as an event, or even a verb. Let's not get started even on what kind of sauce you like with your barbecue, because South Carolina has 4 different types of sauces. Performing a trademark search can mean different things too, depending on who you ask. Sometimes it's a very limited peek at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office register, focused only on identical or near identical terms that might quickly knock out a term that might be a candidate as a trademark. Some lawyers call that a knockout search, though even that term can refer to different levels of searching. In other cases, a search might be more detailed and might involve third-party vendors and searches that are not just at the U.S. Trademark Office, but also at state registers, other databases, and online directories. Because trademark rights can exist in the United States without being registered, and because trademarks do not have to be identical to each other to create conflict, there's not necessarily one universal catch-all search for all situations. And the reality is that no search is perfect. Further complicating matters, some trademarks can still appear on the trademark register but no longer be in use, which might lead to additional searching and investigation to see if the trademark registration is vulnerable. If you like this kind of stuff, or if you just want to see pictures of our canine law clerk and answer our regular trivia question, feel free to sign up using the link in the description and subscribe to this channel. To give you an idea of the trivia, our trivia question from last week asked what cartoon dog first appeared in 1930, meaning original drawings from that time may now be in the public domain. And this dog is named after an astronomical discovery of the same year. So if you guessed Pluto, you would have been correct. Click on the newsletter link to see the most recent question, and we hope you enjoy.